Is rolling and the audio is on.
Nice.
Alrighty, so we're gonna get a countdown going. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Slice of Life podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal. We slice up people's lives. We talk about them, see what they have to bring to this table. And on the other side of the table, we have Daniela Torres.
Thank you.
Daniela, just go ahead and just wave to the camera, say what's up for all of my viewers out there. And for my audio people, that sucks. I'm sorry. I'll try to see if I can put some pictures, but I don't want to. But Daniela, how are you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Fantastic.
Today. Yeah, it's been a great day. A lot of blessings, a lot of great people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful,
That's
especially
good.
to be here.
Awesome. And Daniela, I usually ask everybody, like, this is kind of like, we'll get to like what you do, why I wanted you on the podcast and everything, but how's your 2020 going? How was the 2020 experience for you?
Great question.
Yeah, really, right?
Oh my God, it's been a roller coaster, I think, emotionally, especially because you start with an idea. I was, at the starting 2020, I was a workaholic, I would say.
A workaholic.
I was.
What?
So I went through this phase where all my priorities were my work. And I sit by myself on it was January 5th, I think. No phone calls, no friends, all silent. Just work, message coming in. And I was like, okay, where am I going with this lifestyle that I'm choosing? Because I'm a person who drive for connection. And all my energy I was putting into work that at some point wasn't even fulfilling me. It was just what I knew how to do. So March, when 2020 started, I had to kind of like redefine my work process. And I started like a spiritual journey.
Oh, nice.
Where I decided to prioritize myself. And it took a lot of strength because I had to say no to
A lot of things.
a lot of things. But I saw where I was. My relationship at that moment with my partner wasn't good. With my friends wasn't good. Even in my work. Because I was just getting work without even thinking about it, without even putting my intention to it. Like, why am I doing this? But it was a pattern that I could recognize.
Right.
And start doing something different.
Okay.
Which it was putting myself first. I started working on the connection with myself instead of looking at outside.
Yeah.
I started looking within. And that's basically it. I mean, it's been a roller coaster from there.
Of course, yeah. No, yeah.
Because I had to go through so many beliefs that were there stopping me from connecting with myself. And I was putting the excuse of everything but to face what I needed to face.
Right.
And I think 2020 has been, for me, the year where I finally could see myself.
Right.
And accept myself and all the parts that I didn't want to.
Right. Wow. No, I mean,
So,
that's a mouthful for one, but like, did you think any of this was going to happen like the way that it did, like the way it unfolded? Because maybe that mindset is like, how would I say, you were already preparing for yourself to, blossom, do all these things. And then like COVID and, the BLM and everything that's been going on throughout the years, the presidential election, everything, and it just kind of puts a damper on people's moods. Did that ever do anything to you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially I work with people's emotions.
Right.
And I help them deal with situations, right? And basically all my clients were freaking out. They were, what am I going to do? Am I stopping everything I'm doing, or I'm taking a step forward and I go all in?
Right.
Because that was the debate. Do I stop my business and I save money, or do I go all in online?
Yeah.
To take the most out of this momentum, because it really were two realities. There were people that didn't stop the house stop income, and there was the other who they had more business. In my case, which I work with online business, I was getting a lot of work,
Right.
and the clients that at that moment were debating, their best bet was to finish and start, putting all. How can I open my resources?
Right.
How can I be in more platforms? How can I be there for these people that is in their house without any sort of distractions but their phone,
Right.
and they're looking to put their money somewhere.
Yeah, they're
even the money
to,
that they don't have.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
to
like
fulfill that need. Because
yeah.
it created like a completely different behavior.
Right. Wow. No, and let's talk about what you do. So, like you're saying, clients and everything. For all of my audiences out there, Daniela, I met her at a coffee shop. Believe it or not, yeah. So, like, I liked what she was wearing. I was like, "Hey, dude, that's a great outfit." And I was just like, we sparked a conversation, and then from there, she told me a little bit about what was it, branding, and you do marketing for other people. And you do you travel for your clients, and that was a really cool thing. And I was like, I want her on a podcast. I was like, perfect. And one thing, and I say, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. I want to cheers to that. Cheers to our little white Russians right here. But let's
very
just
nice.
Very nice, right? But tell the audience what is it that you kind of like, what you do and how you got started.
What I do today is I help business and people connect with their purpose and project it on their brand.
Okay.
Then I help them market their purpose to help people. How did everything started? When I started working for an agency as a marketer. And I saw the need for how do you say this? The need for a more meaningful work process.
Okay.
And I started on my own. I quit the agency, decided to start on my own. It wasn't as easy as I'm telling you right now. I had to go through a lot of pain.
Yeah, I know. When you start anything, it's going to be like a lot of failures and no's and everything.
Yeah.
But keep going.
So, where was I? I lost my thought process. So yeah, I started, and then I started helping people out of, I don't know, I met people that needed what I was doing. And I was doing the same process for everybody.
Okay.
I will help them figure out their mission. I was helping them figure it out. Their ideal client. I was helping them figure it out. All these basic steps to build a brand and then help them market. But then I found something. I found that some of them will succeed and their brand will take off very easily. And some of them basically did nothing with what we did. And I was like, what's the difference? Because I did the same thing. Like, we went through the same exact process. Why is it that ones are
doing much better than the other?
I know. So I realized it was the mindset. I realized it was the motivation was coming from within.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so I need to help these people find that motivation before I even find their brand design or market them. Because the energy that they're gonna put into their business is the same energy they're gonna get back. They can have the best website, they can have the best logo, but if they don't believe in themselves or believe in what they do, nobody's gonna do it.
Huh. Okay.
Even if they don't have the courage to wake up in the morning and do what it takes, because people sometimes underestimate the amount of energy that you need to get something started, and then the amount of momentum that you need.
Right.
So I said, okay, let me learn how to do this. Let me learn how to help people in a deeper way.
Okay.
And I started, and I got certified as coach. And I coach myself. And then I started implementing coaching within my process.
Right.
So now, instead of only helping you build your brand, I help you shape your mindset first. And breaking all the barriers, figuring it out, what is it that is stopping you really, and what is your motivator? Because what motivates me to build a brand is very different from what can be motivating.
Right.
And finding that is a key point to
what you do.
Keep. Yeah, it's a key point to keep after failure, to keep after somebody say no to you. It's a very important factor.
Right. It's a very important factor.
Yeah, because if your motivator is from the outside, is from what somebody thinks about you, about what somebody thinks about your brand, then you're missing out. Because people are going to think so many
things.
They're as opinions of people, right?
Yeah.
But what matters is what you believe and what your opinion about yourself. So if your opinion about yourself is good, is fulfilling, is successful, then
that's the kind of energy
are gonna be the same as you think about you.
Wow, that's crazy. I don't know how to put it, but I think you're kind of like putting into like a mental coach, like a coach per se, and that is something intriguing, especially because you do it in the way that it is needed in this world right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all on social media, we're all on just on our phones, and we're just trying to clamor for attention, even if it is for a business. But it does take a strong mental to do that, and I think that's what you're kind of clamoring or making them understand. Is that where I'm going? Am I kind of going in the somewhat the right directions?
Yeah.
Definitely. So what was it? Just because you knew you were good at it, or you felt like you wanted to kind of like help people do this?
I think it was because at some point I needed to help myself.
Right. So it was about you. It was you kind of did the inner thinking for you. Yeah.
I had to. I don't teach or share anything I haven't experienced myself.
Right.
At some point I went for the money. I did run from, let me have this many clients.
Yeah.
Let me have all that. And it led me to my account was lower. As many clients I have, my account. Yeah. And at some point I have, so much, but it's still no time to enjoy myself. Or I wasn't working with people that I really wanted to work just for the money or just for, I need to get this goal going.
Yeah. Or like the status maybe, or something kind of like petty, I guess.
It is because unless you get conscious about why is it that you're doing something, what is going to drive your behavior is what you learn from your environment. Right. So what I learned from my environment, and this changes from every single person because I didn't have the same environment as you, right? But my role model was my grandfather. Okay. And what he did was work.
He worked, yeah. Was it
Monday through Saturday? He only had Sunday off. He never took a vacation. The last vacations he took was a week before he died. Okay. That was, I think, the only time I saw him taking a vacation and he had his own company. Right. He could have, done different like choices.
Yeah, he could have done it. He could have had a different outcome. He could have done whatever he wanted,
Yeah.
but he did this.
But that's what he knew how to do.
Right.
And I kind of copied that, and I was driven by that, by
Driven by it, yeah.
Yeah, driven by
yeah.
Sorry about my English. It's kind of messed up.
Man,
But
and we're about to have this in Spanish and about later on in this episode too. So
yeah,
we'll see.
So help me out over there.
I am, dude. I understand. I understand that completely.
Thanks.
We're two peas right now. I'm like, come on. All right. All
right. So I was at the beginning. I just wanted to, in a subconscious level.
Right.
I wasn't aware of it, but I was just repeating something. I was copying his behavior.
Right.
And what I got from it, I was like, okay, why do I want the approval
of your
my
grandpa and your parents, maybe a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, my motivator is recognition. That's mine, right? But unless I recognize myself, unless I start even redefining what's all these things that I wanted to accomplish.
Right.
Because at some point I was, okay, I want success. I want this. What is success? What does it mean for me? Is it money in my bank? Is it working every day? Or is it freedom? Is it feeling happy? Is it helping people? When I switch success from having money in my bank account to helping people, elevating people, helping somebody else accomplish their dreams, and at the same time living my purpose, that was success. Oh my God. Then I was living my successful life every single day, just by redefining, just by making peace with what I learned, letting go of somebody else's idea, even if I love that person, even if I appreciate and admire that person.
We get infatuated by the idea.
Yeah, because you know, you are loyal in a subconscious way.
In a very subconscious way,
You're loyal to that, and not doing what that person taught you, it's being unfair, right?
Right.
And that's why you think, oh, what I cannot get going, why I cannot move, because in your subconscious, you feel like you're betraying somebody, you're betraying your family, you're betraying a generation of decisions. And sometimes we even go deep and make the same. If you look at yourself, if you look at patterns in your life, and you see who have in my family done the same thing, you see, okay, it's a loyalty.
It's a loyalty, yeah. It's like, especially because we're Hispanic, right? And so, and this is, I mean, I say this like, there's a loyalty, like,
it is
to the T, and it I mean, kind of being ingrained in that. It's kind of you putting that first over everything, and it's a stigma, but it's sometimes it can get it's I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing, or a good thing, but it can get very bad.
It can get unhealthy,
right?
Because you are, unless you become conscious of the patterns that has been on your generation, you are down to repeat them.
Right. And that can be in anything, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be like in mental, but like if you see that your dad works from this sort of thing, that's all you know. It's like you don't know what else is out there, but you think that's success. So maybe that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life, you know?
Yeah, because it plays with the belief system.
Right.
So your belief system determines your reality. And because for your dad, your mom, your teacher, whatever, their belief system determine their reality and prove them right. So what you know is that person is right. My dad must be right. He believed that working hard is the only way to do it.
Right.
And he worked hard. That was right.
Right.
So you copy that and you say, yeah, that's what's right, because it's proven in my family, or it's proven in his life that
Right.
that's what is
Right is right.
But when you understand the process behind a belief, then you get with the, oh, it's right for them
realization.
because they believe that.
Right.
So if I just change the way I think and I believe, then I might get different results.
Yes.
You know, for so long, I believed that working was a sacrifice. Not only because I believed it, but I hear it from my mom, from my dad, from my grandfather.
You hear from everybody around your circle.
I hear it from everybody, not only in my circle, but on my culture.
Yes, okay.
If you work hard, you get places.
Right.
If you sacrifice, you will get
Bigger
rewards.
Right.
Which is actually, if you think about it,
It's
think
not-
about it for a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, it's not all wrong, but it's not all right.
But think about this.
Okay.
Imagine if what I'm telling the universe, if what I'm speaking into God, whatever you believe, that is listening to you, and whoever is listening to you, it's reciprocating back, you know, because what we feel, think, and express becomes our reality.
Right.
So if I'm speaking into the universe that life is a sacrifice, and in order to get a reward,
Reward.
reward,
Yeah.
that's how you say, reward.
Reward. that was a harder
learning,
for me.
learning English from Yanni. We had to change.
Change the name again.
Okay, so if in order to get a reward, you have to sacrifice, where you're telling, let me sacrifice, a little reward.
Yes.
Sacrifice, a little reward. And then you have a lifestyle of sacrifices and rewards. Sacrifices and rewards. And it's not because life was supposed to be like that. It's because that's what you believe life was.
Right.
So when I started saying, life is easy, I don't need to sacrifice in order to be rewarded. The universe is always listening to me. It's listening to me through my feelings. It's listening to me through the actions that I'm making. And I feel good. I feel like I wake up and things are handed to me just easy, because that's how life is.
That's how life is, right?
I feel like working and waking up is exciting.
Yeah.
I don't need to be on a desk to build a business. I don't need to be in a 9 to 5 to actually have money flowing to me. You know?
Yeah.
What do you think happened? I started having a fulfilling life. I started enjoying what I was doing. I stopped sacrificing myself. Did I have to give away that belief? Perhaps my loyalty?
Right.
Perhaps I felt at some point like, oh my God, this is what my whole family believes. What are they going to think when I tell them that life is easy?
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing. Can I have this conversation with my family? But you know what happened? They started getting inspired by it. And I saw them even talking about how easy life can be. And then I understood. It's not what you talk. It's what your actions inspire. And when you get into energy of easiness, it's not about making people believe what you believe. It's about inspiring people to believe what you believe. You know?
Yeah,
And
that makes
that's the
sense.
difference. You know, I don't want to change anybody.
No, of
because I
course.
can't.
Right.
Anybody or everybody has the power to change themselves. All I can do is inspire them.
So, I'm sorry.
Salud.
Salud. That's so good. I love everything you're saying. I love your mental, your inspiration. I mean, it really reminds me of me a little bit too.
Yeah.
And
In which way?
I think it was after I really changed. I changed my whole physical form and that in turn changed my mental form.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and maybe for some people it can be vice versa.
Right.
But for me, it was that way. It was I changed my physical form because I wasn't happy about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was very insecure, not insecure, but very just not proud of who I was.
Right.
And so I think I did a lot of due diligence on my end to try to figure out, like,
Good for you.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you. I really
it takes
appreciate it.
courage.
And you know, definitely it's not a perfect state. It's just a
Mhm.
progression state. You keep
Right.
like wanting to get better and see what works, see what doesn't. And sometimes it does take a little bit of sacrifice. But where I was going with this is everything that you're saying is so true. Everything it is, like, for some people that maybe harder for others because the road or the race is so different from person to person, like we said. But what do you is there a generic thing that stops people? Like, what stops people from getting to their goals, to where they want to be in life? If so, what is that? Like, what do you think it is? I mean,
Fear.
is it fear? Is that one? Is that one, or is that the biggest one?
I mean, fear is the biggest, I think.
Yeah.
Not just because is how do you say this? But we're programmed to feel fear.
Okay.
It's is in our brain is designed for that.
To survive, to like.
Yeah,
you know,
to be in
that
to activate
fearful
that
state,
survival mode.
Yeah, and sometimes that is a fearful state.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And not only our mind is designed for that,
Mm-hmm.
but our culture teaches to be in a fearful state. So we're not only learning it from school,
right,
from our parents because they learn it too, from TV because that's what we turn on and we watch news and what the news say. They don't say good news.
I mean, it's
10% good news, 80%, 90%.
It's going to be bad because that's what gets people's attention.
Right.
Right.
So we're in a culture that supports fear in even in a political standpoint, you know.
What do you mean?
Because that's what they inject in you. Fear separates
be as
people.
in depth as you can. I love whenever I'm like, talk about something you can't talk about.
Right, but fear separates. Fear has the power of paralyzing, making you become impulsive.
Right.
And all these things, what it does is it creates separation. Right? So our mind, in order to evolve, it has to turn off fear. Right. Or how do you say resignificate?
Redesign or
You can say redesign. What
or
fear
reciprocate.
No, even. Let's go redesign. Redesign what fears or the experience of fears means to you. For instance, let me put an example. The usual is when you feel fear, maybe you feel in your stomach, you're about to do something that you haven't done before, and you feel like you start rushing, your blood
starts pumping.
I need that those words in English, right?
Say it in Spanish if you want to. We got Spanish speakers on.
Okay. So what happened is that you paralyze, right? Or you become impulsive because of fear. The most common is paralyze. You don't do nothing. You forget what you were saying.
Right.
You start bumbling. Whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah. Whatever.
But what if fear is just an indicator that something is about to happen? It doesn't necessarily mean that something bad.
Right. It's just kind of like something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I can see that. Okay. I'm thinking about it myself for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, when I feel nervous, I, instead of avoiding that, I acknowledge my emotion. I acknowledge that I'm experiencing something, that my heart is beating faster, that I have like a rush of adrenaline, maybe, and that maybe cortisol is going down. And then I say, okay, what am I experiencing? What's going on here? What is it going to happen? Oh, no, I'm just going to have a podcast.
Right.
Okay, are you in danger? No. Are you going to have a good time? Yes. Oh, maybe this emotion is just telling me that I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's embrace it.
Let's embrace it. Yeah.
Let's have a good time. So, because we're never taught to embrace our emotions, and we label them into, this is bad, this is good. If I'm feeling nervous, this is bad. Instead of, if I'm feeling nervous, maybe is this excitement?
Right. You're trying to figure what's going on.
Because maybe you are in danger.
Yes.
But maybe you're not.
It's a fight or flight sort of thing that you're talking about. Yeah.
So if you learn, instead of avoiding your emotions, to embrace them and communicate with them, stop putting labels on it, you have a better relationship with yourself. And fear stop being so general and becomes, no, it's not fear, is frustration. It's not fear, is
anything that you think it is. You kind of like start not downplaying is a good way to put it, but like you start figuring out, it's just a tick, or it's just like a little muscle spasm, or you're just trying to figure out what it is, and you pinpoint it to what it actually is, what's bothering you.
Right. Yeah. Because we call fear anything.
And it's a broad statement. It means like a lot of things. Like fear can be something that makes me happy, and if for some people it's like something different. And fear can be
helpful sometimes. Right. Imagine that you are in a situation where you're feeling some sort of way about somebody. That, oh no, that must be my head. That person is good. What if that is advising you something? Because energy is everything.
Right.
But if you learn how to work with your energy, how to learn through your emotions and read your emotions, so you can have a better communication with your inner self, because that's the way we actually will be able to run and lead, if we're truly confident. But confidence, you don't find it outside. You have to find it within yourself. And if you cannot be certain about what's going on within you, how can you be confident? So then fear become the biggest stopper. Yeah. Because you never were able to just sit with fear.
Right.
Have a nice conversation like we're having right now.
Right.
And see, why is it that fear is in your life? When I sit with fear, the first time, I was in my sofa, frustrated, and I was like, okay, fear, let's talk. What is it that you fear the most? Failure. Okay. Why are you so fearful about failing?
Okay.
And then I realized, okay, I don't want to disappoint. Oh, I got deep. Who do you don't want to disappoint? How did you say that? Who
do you not want to disappoint?
Right. Who do you not want to disappoint? And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to disappoint my grandfather. I don't want to disappoint my mom. I don't want to disappoint my dad. Okay. What would it take for them to be disappointed? And I started breaking down this fear. And then I realized, well, it was only in my head. And that idea of failure, disappointment, was stopping me from feeling good, because I always had this need of approval. And I thought it was an approval. I just want approval. But what I wanted was the approval of these three people. And when I break down that, I was like, well, there is nothing. The only thing that will be disappointed will be if I kill somebody, maybe. It was all in my head at the end of the day. So when I took that out of the picture and I started working on approving myself instead of waiting for them to approve me.
Okay.
And
you started feeling more
telling
fulfilled.
myself what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
Because not everybody had the pleasure or have the pleasure to have their parents to tell them what they want to hear.
Right. No.
But you do want to hear something.
Right.
That's a primitive need.
Yeah. I think the answer is more important than if it's positive or negative, because let's just say go pee.
Yeah.
Go pee.
Okay.
Let's just say that like, I'm just gonna chime in here for a bit, but let's just say that for some people, some parents, they can't grow, or they're so stuck in a certain way that sometimes trying to get the point across isn't gonna get through. Like, it isn't going to get through to them. It's not gonna ring, because they're so stuck in some sort of way that worked for them that they think it's supposed to work for you. So acknowledging that there's a difference, there's a different way of looking at things, and that's your point of view that you're trying to prove to them. I think that's what's different. I think that is what's gonna, like, how would I say? That's going to end up changing either their minds, and if not, it might even inspire them, or it's going to get them mad. And I think that's where I'm trying to get at, is that there is a positive and there is a negative sort of answer that people look for. And, it's okay. It's fine for people to do that. It's fine for people to want to, how would I say? They find the negative or positive answer. Nah, you're fine. I can always edit it and stuff like that. But all in all, though, I think what I'm really trying to say is that for some people, we can acknowledge things as a young part, but like you said, your parents or your family ended up feeling inspired by what you do, but some people don't even get that gratitude. Right. They don't get that acknowledgement. So sometimes even just an answer can kind of let them know, like, all right, fine, then I know I didn't disappoint you guys. I just know this is what you guys think. I'm going a different way. And I think where I'm going with it is, you are what are you? You said you're Colombian? Venezuelan. And were you always like this? Like, were you always like, or you?
I wish.
There was just an accumulated point in your life where you were like, I'm gonna switch gears.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't never like this. I grew up wanted to have the approval of the people around me. As a young kid, I realized that I needed to be the best because I wasn't enough as I was.
Right.
That was what I learned, right?
Right.
So I was a go-getter. That was the only thing I knew how to do well. Accomplish things. And one of the accomplishments was be the girl, be the woman somebody else wanted me to be. In this case, my family, right?
Okay.
Oh, let me take a deep breath.
Take your breath.
Okay.
Some people are out of shape.
I am. Oh my God, I just went to the bathroom.
No, I was talking about me.
Oh.
Okay, man.
So yeah.
Holidays just get me fat.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
We'll get to that later. But what were you saying?
Me too, same. Gotta get to the gym in January.
What's it get
tomorrow? In 2 days.
All right, what were you saying?
So what took me to change my mindset was recognizing that I was repeating the pattern of all the women in my family. You
specify on your women, so you were trying to
yeah, I wasn't in this relationship, an abusive relationship, verbally, physically, and I lost myself. That was my first relationship.
Okay.
Looking back, I see that I was just looking or needing that thing that I didn't get from my family, from my parents. And this person was who gave me that sort of security, I guess.
They filled in that void and that hole.
Yeah, even though it was an abusive way of loving, that's not love. But that's what I thought love was, right? So one day it was in the middle of the night, 7:30. I made food for this man. I was serving him food. And I don't know, out of nowhere, he got triggered, put the plate away. He stand up of the table and let me alone with the plate broken on the floor. And I was just looking at the pieces, picking them up. And in my head, like a flashlight, I saw the face of my grandmother, of my mom, of my aunts, and how they've been through the same thing. And I was like, wow, I'm just repeating the same story. And that's what made me wanted to make the change. Of course, it wasn't overnight. I had to go to therapy. I started reading a lot and self-discovering myself. Oh, I'm still out of breath. But that's when it started. Because I was just doing the same thing I learned.
I gotcha.
How to do well. And as a Latina, we're basically trained to either be a housewife, to find a rich man para que nos mantenga, to be a Miss Universe, to be in an administrative work, to work for a great firm. You know, those are the options. And a part of me was like, I cannot want that.
Yeah.
But another part of me said, this is what I know. This is what feels comfortable.
Right. Do you think, because I love what you're saying, and this is kind of gets me to like another point, and I think this kind of like would end up shining some light to it. Do you think some women prefer that?
For sure.
Like, and this is what I mean is that some people, even as a Hispanic, like, I can name things that doesn't have to do in that realm that I'm like, I would rather prefer that, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but some people like boxes, and I think, yeah. And we talked about this a little bit, I remember, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying that I acknowledged it. I can't change, like, you can't change people, you know, and you can't make somebody like you for some reason, for what I'm trying to say. You can only acknowledge this is how you want to be portrayed, and I think that's what you were doing, and that's what a lot of people should do, is like start acknowledging what they want in their lives. And like I could say, not from that point of view, but from just being a Latino, it's like there's like so many different things that I want differently than what my family wanted, if that makes sense. And this is why, like, your story inspired me, because I was like, man, you're coming over here, you came by yourself, and you're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like work my butt off, because this is what my grandpa kind of showed me, is to work, but at the same time do it my way.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, like that's inspiring for people. And I mean, inspiring for women. Like, that's what I mean, is that you're kind of like setting up a staple. I feel inspired. Like, it doesn't even have to be women. Like, that's what I mean. And, but that, you're right. There's something that does right. Like, there's like energy that I feel, and I'm like, oh my God, that just energized me up. Like, I want to go do something right now. Like, you know, and I think having more people like that around you is such a crucial thing. So do you think like having a good, because you said that you were a loner, or that you felt like you were a loner, do you feel like maybe for other people, or even if you think for yourself, back then, like having a good foundation of people that think like you or think more of themselves is a positive thing?
It is. It's definitely a thing. Selfishness.
So, this is where I'm going. Like, egotistical and selfishness and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I'm
very,
saying.
very, you know, how do you say this? lo satanizan como que, you know? You
Oh,
can translate.
they
Selfish is bad. You have to just put others first.
right,
And that is so messed up. Because unless you're good, unless you are really good,
right,
you're not. Your environment is not good.
right.
And that's why we have so many messed up people. And that's why we're so
Yeah.
messed up, because at the end of the day, our environment wasn't good.
Right.
They could have the good intentions. I'm not saying, yeah, you could have good intentions, but good doesn't make
mean
extraordinary.
right.
Good just make good,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes.
So deep down, I feel like I do want to inspire little girls to, instead of dreaming to have their boobs done, they dream to be the CEO of their company. You know, instead of dreaming of finding, nothing against it, right? But I think there's more to it than how you look,
Right.
than how you speak, even than how you dress. It's about more than that.
100%.
So if more women can think like this, and there is,
Right.
you know, I've been inspired for women that are doing it, and they are inspiring other women that
Right.
have inspired me. And if we can multiply that, especially in this generation,
Right.
which we're consumed by distractions.
What do you mean?
Consumed. I mean, we wake up and we go to Instagram. That's the first thing we do.
We're in an Instagram fiasco world. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
it's like
that's what gives us approval.
yeah.
And we want to be like, our need is be part of something. And we are in a generation where we feel that we don't fit in. And what makes us feel, yeah, because we want to think different, but we still want to please our family.
Right.
But we still want to please our Instagram followers. But we still want to please our dreams and desires that aren't even yours. Somebody else planted on you, and you never had the courage to even debate with that idea of yourself. You're just following somebody else's rules. So of course, you're empty. You go to sleep at night, and you just watch Instagram a little bit. You see how many likes you had in your last post, so you can feel
Like
that,
like that sense
that
of dopamine,
little dopamine,
that
and then
gets
you go to sleep, and you dream with the life that you
have on Instagram,
or
like
even the life that you ambition, which is completely different from the
reality.
life that you have.
Yeah.
And that's how you spend your days. And I know this.
I mean, we all fall victim.
Because I've been there.
Done it. Yeah, look, we all do
I'm
it.
telling you because I know. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. So do you think there's I would say cure or like a way to get out of it? Because
Yeah, I mean, the cure is,
there's not a lot of people that aren't on social media. There's so few, like you probably like count them on your fingers of like the people I know that don't use social media at all.
yeah.
And that's a sad truth. But I'm like, what other way is it to like go about it?
It's just the awareness of what represents social media in your life, even the
Right.
awareness, because sometimes it's not like I don't fall into this. Sometimes I catch myself into, "What? I haven't posted today," and I said,
So
I have that dialogue,
yeah.
right? And I'm like, okay, let's not post for the next 3 days then. Let's just take a break.
yeah.
It's that awareness, because it is addictive. It is a sort of addiction. Our phones are a sort of addiction. So what I do, let me practice detoxing. Let me get routines and that doesn't involve technology at all.
Right.
So I can be with myself.
Right.
So I don't have the noise, because that's when you create. That's when you actually connect. you think you're connected because you have a phone, but the actual connection comes from within. But if you don't spend any time with yourself or go through those break points within yourself, ask yourself those uncomfortable questions.
Right.
That
Some people can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just chiming in. Keep going.
No. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying, like, some people can't look at themselves clearly. They can't take those rational results. They don't understand the concept of too much is too much. Like, there's a and I'm not saying that there is a side that you can be risky, but there's also discipline involved. That there's also and I mean, you're good. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're a good looking person. Like, you keep yourself sort of fit. And sometimes people, I think, want to misconstrued the idea of like, no, I don't need to change myself just because they don't want to do something. You know what I mean? And I only mean this in the physical sense. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But at the same time, I'm a moron.
In which way?
What I'm saying is, it's like, we are living in a kind of age or getting to a point where we can literally, like, how would I say? There's going to be a point where there's going to be a pill where you can just take it and you don't have to worry about going and working out, doing anything. And it's I don't know why, and maybe I'm wrong with this, but I always feel like there is something inside of us that tells us that we need to move. We need to stay active and do all this stuff. And people, how would I say? I don't think it's all people. Don't think I'm saying anything, but people want to find ways to not do that, and yet overgeneralize the ideas that health health is in a bad, like, we can't talk about health. And I'm like, but you can fix yourself, right? Like, you can look at yourself deeply. And that sometimes, when you look at yourself deeply, means also looking at your physical and mental and health. And I don't know, that's part of the reason why I've got to where I am, like how I am mentally, where not a lot of things get to me anymore. Like, a lot of things I can just say, it's okay. Like, I forgive you. Like, and I don't hold grudges anymore. And I love to thank that to me getting to a point where I loved not how I look physically, but how I've gotten there, and how that has changed my whole mental state. So I would say that
wow, that's powerful.
Right, and I would say that reason alone has got me to understand that there is some sort of good into that sort of thinking.
Because you gain trust.
Right. And so now I'm defending it. I'm defending the crap out of it, because I'm like, if it can work, I'm not saying it can work for everybody, but I'm saying try it out, because now we're living also in an age where, heart disease is a big killer, cancer and all this other stuff, that it is a fearful thing. Mm-hmm. But because, we're young, we kind of just living day to day. It's sort of relieving for me that I can go eat really good and say I'm okay, because I can still keep active. Like, I can still be aware of what I'm doing to myself physically, because in turn, that's what gives me the energy to think mentally. Like, have you ever had those brain fogs?
Oh, for sure.
And where do you think those come from? Like, do you think they just come from like stress? And because they do 100% do. But there's like, I sometimes intern it to like food and what I eat, because sometimes that's a no brainer. Like, processed foods and all that stuff. I'm like, whoa, come on, man. What are we eating here? I don't know what this is. Right. There's food out there that's not even called food or like meat anymore. It's called protein. I don't know what that means, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to say to that.
I think it goes to awareness, and waking up into the reality that everything around us was made to keep us in a wheel.
So like a recycled sort of way, or just kind of like keeps us going?
Maybe keeps the world going.
Oh, okay.
Without caring about who's keeping it going, right?
Yeah.
Food industry, pharmaceuticals, health, politics, schools. So everything is designed to keep us in this wheel.
Right.
They told us, oh, eat cow milk is good for you. It's proven that it's actually bad.
Yeah.
It's actually deteriorating your bones. And as you grow up, you think, oh, I need to do milk because that's the only way my baby's gonna be strong.
Calcium.
Which you were doing.
Yeah, that's like that's right? What got milk, like, you know, all those things.
There's so many things right now that are just not true.
Are you are you a vegan or no?
I support veganism.
But are you?
I used to be. I do.
I used
right
to be
now
too.
Fish.
I used to be too. So
I
this is what I'm saying.
I do fish sometimes, just because my lifestyle, I guess. I used to cook a lot. That's what I could be vegan because I like to eat, and I used to cook a lot. But now, I use fish as that fast to do, but I try not to. I try not to do meat, just because the environment,
right,
and because health. Actually, to process meat, it takes a while for your body, and what happens with what you don't process or digest, it stays in your intestine, and what happens with that stays in your intestine, it putrefied. How do you say? Se deteriora.
No, deteriorates?
Yeah, se queda ahí, for years.
Yeah.
And then why do I have bad breath? Why I have colon problems? Why do I have all this? Well, because tienes una vaina ahí en el intestino que te está matando, loco.
No, so true.
You know?
So true. And I mean, like, I don't know. I can always joke around with like my friends and stuff about this, but we eat a lot. Like Latinos eat a lot, and
especially Mexicans, huh?
Heck yeah, man! Like, oh man, menudo, carne asada, everything. I'm telling you, we eat a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I think that's also another reason how you kind of like your sense of inspiration and what you feel like is a purpose for you is to like motivate and inspire little girls to be more confident in themselves and do this. I see what inspired me is that my younger brother, like he's in a whole different generation, and my niece and nephew are a whole different generation, and I want to show them like, listen, you don't have to do what we were always born to do. Now, like I kind of like you were the only one from your family that came over here. So was I. Like, and it just shows that it's like, it's possible.
It is.
And it's that also stemmed from food. Like also like the idea is that, hey, we don't have to eat every hour on the hour. Come on, man. Like,
I know. Believe me, it's still hard.
My intestines hurt. Like, this is what I mean. I'm just like, oh, Jesus, man, I'm fat. No, but I love my food. What? And I'm over here like, my grandma makes those tamales, and I'm like, oh my God, you better eat like 4. And I'm like, I'll eat 2. How about that?
Yeah.
And then I eat 4. I'm just like, I'm like.
It happens. I mean, if I go to, it's just that emotional. Because
that's you say it's the emotional?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there are emotional food. Which trigger you memories that makes you feel happy.
Right. Like the times when you were, heck yeah, man. Reminds me of like the holidays.
Like, it's like I go to my Nona house and she's making her famous pasta sauce.
What do Venezuelans have? Like that's
what happened is like one side of my family, it's Italian, and the other side is Venezuelan.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can you speak Italian?
I cannot.
I was about to say.
I can understand a little bit, but
I was like, I got a job at the Italian pavilion, though. That's what's up. Yeah. Keep going.
Pero, what I was saying, yeah. So, if I go to my Nona's house, of course I'm going to eat that pasta. You know? How can I say no?
Right.
But it is that. It is that discipline.
Yes.
What you were talking about at the beginning, you know. I was thinking the other day, how can I, instead of, because when I go to my family house, I have a family in Miami, an aunt and 2 cousins.
Oh, okay. So you go visit them much?
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah. When I go
once
there,
in a blue moon.
I remember last time I went, we went to eat and we ate parrilla venezolana, which is barbecue, Venezuelan barbecue. It was the first time I was eating meat for like a year, something like that. Do you know the movie White Chicks?
Heck yeah, who doesn't know the movie White Chicks? I love that movie.
Well, if you know that movie, do you remember when she ate like cheese and she was do you know,
lactose intolerant?
Just close your eyes. I have the picture of the girl like that in the bathroom. That was me.
One of the best movies.
Oh my God, I love that movie. But literally, I was in the bathroom of like a feria.
Which is a carnival. It's like a state fair sort of thing. Yeah.
And I was sending that meme of the white chick to my family, like, this is what I'm doing right now because of that. But it was because I didn't have the courage to say no.
Right.
I didn't want to be that one to, no, I'm not eating meat.
Right.
And sometimes you have to say no.
You have to. Yeah, you have to say
no. Because you want to fit in. And we go to the same principle.
1000%.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be part of something. You want to belong to something. That's in our DNA. And if your family goes and get together, you want to be part of the crew. And you want to... Yes, of course. We all do coronas. Yeah, let's go to coronas. And we do carnita asada. Go for it.
Elotes, everything.
You spend the next 3 days in the bathroom, but you were part of your family. So what I thought was like, why if next time I just go and make something amazing for them, and I teach them that it doesn't have to have meat on it to be delicious.
Yes.
Because for Latinos, we think the only way a meal is good is if it has
some sort of meat. Some sort of meat. I can sort of agree with that. I mean, rice and beans was like everything I ate, but that's what it's like.
All type of beans.
Todos los pedos everywhere. I'm just like going cracking everywhere, crazy. I'm going to the restroom every time. I'm like, geez. But no, I love talking about this too. And we are going to be trying a new experiment here, guys. We hit the hour mark here, and I can't believe we hit the hour mark.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. What I'm saying it means, for me anyway, is I want to finish the hour in the English note. So if you want to end it in the English note, because we are going to still continue talking, but in Spanish. So tune in if you want, but also do whatever you want. I don't care. Any last remarks that you want to add for all of my English speakers out there? Like, what is the motivation for you that you can give some inspiration for? Because I've seen your videos. I've seen how you connect with your audiences. I do clamor for like your audience also to understand who you are and like where you come from. And this was a great way to do it, honestly. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Yeah. And the best way for you to do some inspirational outsource, what would you say for the audience?
I would say there is a voice within you. We all have that sort
You're good at this so much. I'm sorry. I don't
sort of things that, it's there. It's there. It's speaking to you at night, sometimes throughout the day, but you keep silent that voice. Go ahead and believe that voice. Go ahead and take that next step, because if I wouldn't, in my first relationship, having that abusive boyfriend beating on me, putting me down, if I wouldn't have listened to that voice, I wouldn't be here with you. I wouldn't be able to help thousands of people doing what they love. I wouldn't be able to inspire people right now and actually change my life, change the way I think. And it's possible. Everything is possible. So believe in yourself and listen to your voice.
Well, there you have it, folks, for all of my English speakers out there. Thanks for tuning in. You could still be listening to us clamor on and love talking to this lovely woman. But now we're going to be talking a little bit of Espanol. This is a total new thing for me, too. So my Spanglish is going to be on, like, literally, because I can't save myself from this right now. But I'm going to do it anyway.
It's okay,
but
it's Spanglish.
It's Spanglish, right? We're over here talking the vice versa of that already. So. But there you go, guys. We finished the English side of this. And if you want to keep listening to us, tune in. Bye.
Ciao.